بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين وهو خير ناصر ومعين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعليه الطاهرين. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to question time. The questions are in relation to the family law, and I've been emphasizing over and over again that it's quite important that we look into and educate our community, educate ourselves in regards to the family law. And there's a lot of ignorance, unfortunately, among the Muslim community in regards to the family law. We said that we'll look at the aspect of the relationship brought about by the suckling of a child, which is by breastfeeding. And this also comes under the question of family law, because we are talking about people becoming mahram and non-mahram according to this aspect, according to this law. And as we know that the Islamic family law is based upon the Quran and the traditions and the consensus, and also aql tend to play a very great role because some of the Islamic family law that we have today is based on aql. Quran have talked about in a contextual sense. That is why we tend to see some of the laws are based on the intellectual, on the basis of the aql. Anyways, so now looking at the law which is in regards to the suckling of a child, which is called by breastfed by someone who is other than his own mother. Mothers such suckle their children for 2 full years, and the father must maintain them in the manner appropriate to their way of life. Quran chapter 2 Baqarah verse number 233. In another verse which points out to that it is prohibited to marry your mothers, which we dealt with, that prohibition of marriages, your mothers, your daughters, your sisters, paternal or maternal aunts, nieces, wet nurses who have suckled you, or sisters that result from having been breastfed with you. So there's a brother and sisters, and they become brother and sisters because of the suckling law, because of being breastfed. Now let's look at the difference of opinion from the Shafi'i, Maliki, Hanbali point of view. The Imamiyya deem, the Jafari says that it is necessary for a wet nurse to be the result of a lawful sexual relationship. So the Imamiyans deem it necessary for a wet nurse lactation to be the result of lawful sexual relations. If this is not the case, none of the above mentioned relationships apply. Divorce or the death of a wet nurse's husband after legal conception has taken place does not impact on this ruling. However, the Hanafi and the Shafi'i and the Maliki schools see no difference between a woman being married or unmarried, provided that she has the milk with which to feed the child. Right? Imamiyans consider it necessary for a child to suckle directly from the breast. If milk is taken by indirect means, such as a bottle, the above relationship are not established. So you don't have that relationship. It has to be direct, skin to skin. Then only. The other 4 schools consider it sufficient for milk to reach the child's stomach. For the other Shafi'i, Maliki, Hanbali school of thought, for Hanbali, it suffices for milk to reach the child's stomach even if it is fed via nose. For example, via nose is something is used, for example. For the above relationship, which becoming mahram and non-mahram, it says that a minimum period for the imamans is 24 hours, is either 24 hours or 15 consecutive feeds with no other source of nourishment being gained. So when a wet nurse is providing milk to that child, she should provide it for 24 hours or 15 consecutive feds. Then she becomes the mother. Then she becomes, all of the rulings of that applies. Right? Indeed, the hadith of the Prophet via the error-free Imams from Masumin alayhi salam, it says that and companions that relates to this point is translated, what makes the flesh grow and strengthen the bones? So if the milk that is provided directly to that child and this milk which is provided makes that bone strong, strengthen the bone and makes that flesh grow by that milk, then she becomes the the wet nurse, according to. But 5 breastfeeds is minimum necessary for the Shafi'i and Hanbali school of thought. Right? 5 breastfeed is considered to be enough. Now the Imami, the Shafi'i and the Maliki and the Hanbali school all mention that the period of breastfeeding is to continue up to the age of 2. Now this is another law. That is another law which makes 15, for example, that law for the mother, it makes as the mother, but the child, this is also Islamic law. Why are we talking about this, that 2 years issue? The mother can ask that I breastfed for 1 year, that I breastfed for 2 years, 6 months, right? It is according to the Islamic family law that she needs to breastfeed and it should continue up to the age of 2, and this is based clearly upon the verse of the Quran. Hanafi extends that period by 6 further months. So 2 years and 6 months according to the Hanafi school of thought. The Imamis and the Shafi'is, very interesting, state that in order for such a relationship to be established, a woman must be alive when the baby suckles. When all the above conditions are met and relationships are established, the wet nurse's husband is regarded as her suckling child's foster father. Rulings comes about, brothers and sisters, with this law. Islamic family law, it is not, how we tend to think that, what Islam has in regards to family law. No, very detailed, very interesting, very precise, very clear, crystal clear when it comes to these things. And they are, dealt with accordingly, they are applied accordingly. Now, let's look at if we have time, I think we got some more time. Yes, yeah, we can. We will look at the issue, we are still looking at the issue of marriage, right? Now, let's look at the issue of solemnization of a marriage contract. What happens that a contract, as we said, marriage is a contract. What happens that a marriage contract is solemnized? An Islamic marriage contract encompasses 2 essential elements. Number 1, ijab, which means that offer. Number 2 is qabul, which means that acceptance. So a contract has to be ijab and qabul. It is quite important. In order for that contract to be valid, I come here and I pronounce the marriage, but there is no qabul. No, it is incomplete. Without ijab, one is forced them to get married. No, it is not valid as well, once again, right? So the ijab and qabul is necessary, and that is in order that the contract to be valid, the man and woman must both hear and understand the offer and the acceptance being recited. The wife should know what is the mahr. The husband should know what are the conditions and the mahr and accept it. It is the husband who does the qabul. It is the husband who does the qabul, and it is the wife who offers. The husband accept whatever the wife says, whatever the girl says, the husband must accept. The girl says, I want this much of dowry. Qabul. If not, okay, no problem. It's a contract. The girl says, these are the conditions of my marriage. Honeymoon, house, whatever. The husband says, Qabul. He accepts it. See, what happens in the court of law is that once there is a differences, ikhtilaf among the husband and wife, the wife can go to court and say that, okay, this is the contract, and he accepted it. It is qabul. I did not impose this on him. I did not impose. He was free and then he accepted it. I said 800 gold coins. He qabul. He accepted it. As he accepted it, now he needs to pay me. If he doesn't pay me, then I'm going to put him behind the bars. And that's what we are seeing. Some of the Islamic countries, they have humongous amount of the money of dowry. They get stuck, right? So ijab and qabul is very important, brothers and sisters, in all schools other than the Hanafi. In the Hanafi, the general consensus of the jurist, the ijma of the ulama jurists, is that woman requires the consent of the legal guardian to enter into a marriage contract even when they possess full legal capacity. So the girl must have the legal right, permission from the guardian that in order. But when we look at, for example, in regards to the imam, a virgin bride to be requires her father's consent. However, in the opinion of the Imamian jurist, what do they say? The Imamian jurist, independent, mature women in control of their own lives who propose to marry a suitable man may do so without guardianship consent. So if there be a girl who is independent, who has full control of his life, right? He does not need the consent of the wali. She is independent to get married. However, she depends on the father for her living, for her education, for her support. The consent of the father is something that is conditioned, that is required. I would recommend, brothers and sisters, the contracts to be written rather than it be pronounced. The pronouncement of the contract is sufficient enough. They will become husband and wife where they pronounce marriage, ijab and qabul takes place. But the contract should be written as a document. Now, what is the formula? How marriage is being recited, we tend to have this, zawwajtu muwakkilati li muwakkilika ala mahril ma'loom, from the husband side, from the groom side. It says qabiltu tazwija ala mahril ma'loom. They speak with each other, the two maulanas who come, or sometimes there is only one maulana, and there is a bit of unawareness. Nobody knows what's going on. One maulana says ma'loom, the other maulana says ma'loom. Now what is this? They tend to say that ma'loom. But the poor husband in between who is getting married, he doesn't know anything. Kuch bhi nahi ma'loom. This Maulana say Malum, that Maulana say Malum. In between he is sitting, what Malum? I don't know. Kuch bhi nahi Malum. I don't know anything. So they tend to joke this. What are they saying? What are they reciting? Why they are reciting in Arabic? Why it is not translated? Why it is not explained? Right? It is quite important to be aware of it. I am not an Arab, I don't understand Arabic. What is the Maulana reciting? I am getting married. I really need to know. He is saying that I give zawajtu, I give in marriage my wakil, my client, muwakkilati li muwakkilika, to your client in marriage upon the meher, the dowry that is known, that is ma'loom to me. I know that my client have told me that she wants this much dowry. That's why I'm saying ma'loom. And then I have already spoken to the wakil, to the lawyer of the husband. He is also saying that I accept qabiltu, ijab, there is ijab and there is qabul. He is saying I accept qabiltu tazwija, I accept this izdewaj, I accept this marriage upon ala mahril ma'loom. Once again he says that upon the dowry that is known to us, known to me as the representative of the groom. I know what is the dowry. It is quite important to really know the dowry. I have to accept it. Like I said, the girl says 800 gold coins. He is basically, he is offering 800 gold coins. Do you accept? If the husband says that, I don't know how much she put, it was 800, 8 gold coins, I don't know, but I accept. No. You should know what is in that contract. The meher, what is it? You have to accept it. You have to accept that contract. Then you say, ma'loom, yes, I know, ala mehril ma'loom, I am accepting it. And this acceptance should be with full heart. Oh yeah, it's okay. No. You should accept and you should intend to give the meher. You should have that intention. No, kuch bhi likh lenge, whatever, it doesn't really matter. I'm sorry. This is legal matter we are talking about. Will you go to any shop, to any place and say, oh, it doesn't matter? Baba, it's not like that. Oh yeah, I pay or I don't pay, whatever you say, it doesn't matter. No. The shopkeeper is there, the contracts are there, and you have to be serious about these contracts. We are talking about God here. When the human contracts are very strong and one have to be serious, this is the contract in the eyes of God, and it is the most important contract. There isn't any contract as important as the contract of nikah, as the contract of marriage, right? So one should really pay attention to, one should really respect, one should respect the lawyer that is coming and reciting your aqd and reciting your nikah. One of the other things that we tend to see, that they think that, okay, Maulvi Sahib is free, he will get some free biryani, he will come and recite the nikah. Baba, he is your wakil, he is your lawyer. How much of respect you have for your lawyer, how much you trust your lawyer in order to implement what you really desire. We should really have a holistic approach. We should have that respect, we should have that honor, we should have that dignity for the representative of yours. He is representing you in the eyes of God, in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? So therefore, this is considered to be a contract, ijab and qabul, and both parties must be aware of this contract. Right? So now, according to the all 4 Sunni schools, marriage need 2 male or 1 male or 2 female witnesses. This is for the Sunni school of thought. For them, it requires witnesses for the Sunnis. 2 male witness, 2 female witness. But Imamiyya or the Jafari school does not stipulate the need for witness, as genuine marriages are inevitably celebrated in the public domain. There is no need of witness. And now let me tell you this as well. The lawyers of male and female, the bride and the groom, he says something and then he accepts, right? There isn't any obligation of reciting it 2 or 3 or 4 times. No obligation. Only once is enough. This is it. Ijab, I offer this. Qabul, that's it. But the Maulanas, the scholars that are there, they tend to recite 2-3 times in order to make that pure, clear, that be clarity, that there be no doubt. Ijab, because it's a very subtle, important, crucial matter, is the question of the future of the bride and groom. It is a question of the children, the legitimate children that are going to be born out of this wedlock. So the recitation, the pronunciation, the intention at this moment, I am accepting it. When I say qabiltu, one must intend that. All of these things are considered. That's why it's repeated over and over again. However, only once recitation is sufficient enough. I think we'll stop here and we'll continue on to the marriage, while dealing Islamic family law, marriage first. And like I said, the reference that we have is the Quran and the Hadith, and at the same time we are using a couple of other books, which is the Encyclopedia of the Islamic Law, which is a compendium of the 5 major schools of thoughts. And also there's a book of Sayyid Fazil Hussain Milani, Ayatollah Fazil Milani, which you could find on Amazon. This is also called the Islamic Family Law. These are the references, these are that you could have and you could look into, inshallah. And we hope to see you next week again in question time, and we will shed some more light on Islamic family law. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next week again. Goodbye from Hidayat. Goodbye. Thank you.